History is often told as a chronicle of kings, a linear succession of men who wielded power by divine right and martial strength. But this is a profound oversimplification. For centuries, a different, quieter, yet equally powerful story has been woven into the margins of the historical record. It is the story of women who did not just influence power from the shadows, but who seized it, claimed it, and wielded it in the full light of day. They were not the exceptions that prove the rule, they were the rule in their own domains. They faced down armies, governed empires, enacted laws, and shaped cultures, all while navigating a world that insisted they were unfit to do so. Their authority was forged in crisis, defended with intellect, and cemented with resolve. This is not a story of 25 exceptions. This is the story of 25 sovereigns. From the steppes of Mongolia to the courts of Europe, from the deserts of Yemen to the islands of Japan, we will meet every single one of them. Our chronicle begins in the 6th century, in a world where the very concept of female rule was being written. Empress Suiko was the first recorded female ruler of Japan. Ascending the throne during a period of profound political and cultural transformation, she did not merely reign, she governed. Working with her regent, Prince Shotoku, she promoted Buddhism, established Japan's first constitution, and opened diplomatic relations with China's Sui dynasty. She set the precedent, proving a woman could effectively lead the state. A generation later, in the Silla Kingdom of Korea, another pioneer took the throne. Queen Seondeok was the first woman to rule Korea. A patron of science and religion, she commissioned the Seongseong-dae Observatory, one of the oldest surviving in the world. She was a shrewd diplomat, strengthening ties with Tong China to secure her kingdom's position against rivals. Her reign was a testament to intellectual and cultural leadership. And in the heart of the Byzantine Empire, a woman would not just rule, but would claim the ultimate male title. Irene of Athens began as regent for her son, but when he challenged her authority, she had him deposed and blinded. Brutal, yes, but it allowed her to become the first woman to rule the Byzantine Empire as Basileus, emperor, not empress. Her most lasting legacy was ending the destructive iconoclasm controversy, restoring the veneration of icons, and healing a deep religious schism. As kingdoms coalesced in Europe, women often provided the stability and strategic genius necessary for survival. In England, the daughter of Alfred the Great, Æthelflæd, the Lady of the Mercians, was a military and political titan. After her husband's death, she ruled Mercia alone. She led armies, constructed a network of fortresses, and recaptured key towns like Derby and Leicester from the Vikings. She was so respected that the Danes of York were prepared to submit to her rule before her death. She was a key architect in the unification of England. But female leadership was not confined to Europe. In the Caucasus, a queen would preside over a national golden age. Queen Tamar is perhaps one of the most successful female rulers in history. So great was her power that she was bestowed the male title King of Kings. She expanded Georgia's borders through military conquest, strengthened its economy, and fostered a cultural renaissance. Her reign was so revered that later Georgian rulers were measured against her standard. And in India, a sultan defied convention by naming his daughter as his heir. Razia Sultana was the only woman to rule the Delhi Sultanate. She rejected the purdah, dressed in a mix of male and female attire, and led her armies personally. She was a capable administrator who sought to promote merit over noble birth. Though her brief rule was cut short by rebellious nobles, her brief rule was a groundbreaking moment in South Asian history. History holds many more stories. Subscribe to uncover them. For some, power was not just inherited, but amplified through brilliant alliances and political vision, creating nations that would last for centuries. No woman embodies this more than Eleanor of Aquitaine. As Duchess, she controlled a domain larger than the French kings. She was Queen of France, then, after a dramatic annulment, Queen of England. She was a patron of the arts, a key player in the Crusades, and the mother of kings. Her life was a masterclass in political survival and influence. In Spain, Isabella IV of Castile used her marriage to Ferdinand of Aragon to unite the peninsula's most powerful kingdoms, creating the foundation of modern Spain. A ruler in her own right, she oversaw the final defeat of Muslim Granada, sponsored Columbus's voyage, and initiated the Spanish Inquisition. Her reign launched Spain's Golden Age. In the north, Margaret IV of Denmark performed a political miracle. Through sheer diplomatic skill, she united Denmark, Norway, and Sweden into the Kalmar Union. She never formally took the title of Queen Regnant, yet her control over Scandinavia was absolute for decades, bringing a rare period of stability to the region. And in Poland, a child was crowned not as queen, but as king. Jadwiga of Poland was an intellectual and deeply religious ruler. Her marriage to Jogaila of Lithuania created the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, a political entity that would dominate Eastern Europe for centuries. She was a patron of culture and was later canonized as a saint. The medieval world was defined by conflict, and in times of war, these women stepped forward not just as leaders, but as commanders and defenders. In Italy, Matilda of Tuscany was a feudal lord of immense power. A staunch ally of the Pope, she commanded her own armies in the investiture controversy against the Holy Roman Emperor. Her castle was the refuge for Pope Gregory VII, and it was to her that Emperor Henry IV submitted at Canosso. In the Kingdom of Jerusalem, Melisande fought to maintain her power, first against her husband, then alongside her son. She was a queen regnant in the most volatile region of the world, a patron of the arts, and a ruler who held the fragile crusader state together through sheer force of will. In Egypt, as the Crusader army of Louis IX threatened collapse, the Sultan died. His wife, Shajar al-Durr, concealed his death, organized the military defense, and led the Mamluks to a decisive victory. In recognition, the army made her Sultana, the first and only woman to hold the title. Her rule marked the end of one dynasty and the beginning of another. And after the death of Ogedei Khan, it was his wife, Torigene Hatun, who took the reins of the Mongol Empire. As regent, she commanded the largest land empire in history, consolidating power, removing rivals, and ensuring her son's succession. For 5 years, she was the most powerful person on the Eurasian continent. In South India, Rudramadevi of the Kakatiya dynasty didn't just rule, she went to war. She personally led her armies against rebellions and external invasions, adopting the male title Maharaja to signify her supreme authority. She was a warrior queen who successfully defended her kingdom's independence. Perhaps the most difficult path was for those who ruled entirely in their own right, facing constant challenges to their authority simply because of their gender. In Iberia, Urraca of Leon and Castile was the first woman to rule a major Christian kingdom. Her reign was defined by a constant war against her husband, Alfonso of Aragon, who sought to control her throne. He fought him, his nobles, and invading armies to a stalemate, proving by sheer endurance that a woman could hold power. In China, Wu Zetian achieved the impossible. Rising from concubine to empress, she eventually founded her own Zhou dynasty, becoming the only woman in Chinese history to rule as emperor. She was a formidable administrator who expanded the empire, reformed the civil service, and promoted Buddhism. Her reign was a pinnacle of female power in world history. In Yemen, Queen Arwa al-Sulayhi was a ruler of immense capability and piety. Initially a co-ruler, she later ruled independently for almost 50 years. She was a skilled administrator, a patron of infrastructure and scholarship, and was given the high religious title Hujja. She successfully managed relations with the Fatimid Caliphate and local tribes, ensuring Yemen's prosperity and autonomy. In Indonesia, Tribuwana Vidjaya Tunggavi ruled the Majapahit Empire and appointed the legendary Gajah as her chief minister. Under her leadership, Majapahit began its expansion across maritime Southeast Asia, laying the foundation for its golden age and establishing it as a dominant regional power. And back in Byzantium, Zoe Porphyrogenitea ruled for over 20 years through 3 marriages, always remaining the true source of imperial power. Her life was a drama of depositions and intrigues, but her reign saw continued economic and artistic prosperity for the empire. For all the success stories, the path of a female ruler was inherently perilous. Many faced tragedy, betrayal, and violent ends, a stark reminder of the resistance they faced. Blanche I of Navarre was a queen in her own right, but her reign was a constant struggle against her husband, John II of Aragon, who sought to seize power for himself. He systematically sidelined her and their children, eventually imprisoning her. She died under suspicious circumstances, a victim of spousal ambition. Joanna I of Naples ruled from nearly 40 years, navigating the complex politics of Italy, Hungary, and the papacy. Accused of murdering her first husband, excommunicated, and embroiled in constant war, she was a resilient and cultured ruler. Her reign ended in tragedy when she was captured and murdered by a rival. Maria of Sicily became queen as a child and was immediately used as a pawn. She was kidnapped by powerful barons and held for years before securing her release through marriage. Her life exemplifies the extreme vulnerability of young female sovereigns. In England, the Empress Matilda was her father's designated heir. But upon his death, her cousin, Stephen, seized the throne, plunging the nation into a bloody civil war known as the Anarchy. Matilda briefly controlled England, but was never crowned, her rightful claim denied by nobles unwilling to accept a female monarch. Her struggle, however, secured the throne for her son, Henry II.
And Mary of Hungary, crowned as king, saw her reign marred by rebellion and her mother's assassination. She was temporarily deposed and died in a mysterious writing accident, her potential never fully realized. From the observatories of Sheila to the universities of Krakow, from the merchant networks of Yemen to the legal codes of Georgia, from the battlefields of India to the throne rooms of China, these 25 women were not footnotes. They were authors. They were sovereigns. They governed with a blend of intellect, diplomacy, faith, and, when necessary, unmatched ruthlessness. They navigated systems designed to exclude them, and in doing so, they did not just change the rules, they rewrote them. Their stories are not a separate history. They are an integral part of our shared human story, a powerful reminder that the will to lead, to build, and to protect has never been bound by gender. They were mothers, daughters, wives, and widows. But above all else, they were rulers. And their legacies are woven into the very fabric of our world.